Hello, beautiful sisters. This is Suzette Winona Summers, and I've missed you all. I haven't talked to you all weekend, and I hope you all had a great weekend. I did a workshop, and then I did some work around the house, and so it was busy, but it was good. It was good. I just wanted to hop on real quick. I'm getting ready to go see my daughter, and I wanted to talk about why we accept unacceptable behavior, or why we have in the past, and perhaps we still are, and perhaps we still do from time to time. And hi Patty, good to see you. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in. I'll do my best to answer them. But I'm on here and I want to talk about why we accept unacceptable behavior. And I think it's a really subtle descent that we actually walk into, and we slowly give our power away. And I think one of the things that aids in that is that we don't know who we are, what we believe, what we think, what we like, what we don't like, or we slowly minimize our beliefs, our values, our desires, our interests, to keep the relationship. So it's one of those two. And I think what happens is, as we are in the relationship, and say our partner wants to go to a football game and we're not into it, but we want to be with them, so we say, well, I'll just go this one time. And that's fine once, but then slowly over time we start to minimize our desires a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until so soon we're like, I don't even remember what I like. I don't even remember what my favorite food is. You go out to a restaurant and you're like, well, what should I order? Or going to an event. Well, sure, I'll do that. There's no decisiveness. And that decisiveness is, it's important because it establishes a boundary. But when we give up that, and when we give up our interests and our values and those things just to be with another person, slowly over time, the boundary between you and the other person, it meshes, and there's enmeshment. And so I think what happens, and I say I think, but I'm speaking from experience. I know this is the process that happens. The person starts to, the way that we recognize self from other is through boundaries, things they like, things they don't like. When we are giving our power away, when we are not decisive, when we go along with things just to keep the peace, or to be with the other person, even though it's not what's true to our hearts, it's not what's valuable to us. Over time, that enmeshment happens, and the other person doesn't differentiate themselves from us, from you. And then their negative self-talk, especially, if somebody's toxic, they tend to have a dialogue going in their head, which is probably pretty abusive to themselves. Usually hurt people. So when they're so critical of themselves, and they're not seeing any differentiation between themselves and you, because there are no boundaries, they don't see you as an individual person, they see you as an extension of themselves, they start to project that onto you, right? And we experience that abusive behavior, or that toxic behavior, or that, I guess, unacceptable behavior. And we start to accept it, and we don't realize that part of us was giving away our power slowly over time. So we were kind of feeding into that. And by claiming our power and stating, after years and years or months and months or whatever, when we start to establish boundaries and we start to say, that doesn't really work for me, or I don't like that, or let's do this, and they don't want to do it, when there's not that mutual give and take, and we start asserting ourselves, a lot of times we find that toxic behavior, that unacceptable behavior we start to experience that because we're starting to establish ourselves as individuals and put boundaries up of saying, I like this, I don't like this. So, so I think that's why we start to get into those patterns of accepting unacceptable behavior, because slowly, little by little, we're giving little pieces of ourselves away by not honoring what our truth is. I remember when I first got married, I was a vegetarian and my husband wasn't, and I ate a lot of vegetables and he did not like vegetables, so I started to cook with meat, and I did it because I loved him and I wanted to be with him, and I thought this was gonna be one thing that made our relationship better, and but it continued on like that, where I would continue to give little pieces of myself away, and it didn't serve him, it didn't serve me. I wasn't being truthful, I wasn't owning my power, and then when I started to assert my power, a lot of anger and frustration resulted from that, because he was confused, I was confused, I had given all this power away, and now I'm pulling it back. It created a lot of chaos and a lot of miscommunication, just confusion. And I think one of the most important things for us to remember is it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to like things and not like things. And part of that rediscovery process is giving yourself the space to say, I like that, or I don't like that, or no, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you today. And I think when we start to do that, when we start to realize what we love, what we enjoy, what our values are, what we appreciate, what we don't appreciate, we're not only being honest with ourselves, we're being honest with the world. We're all individuals, and there is no right or wrong. There's no better or worse. It's not better to be a vegetarian and worse to be a non-vegetarian. It just is what it is. And when we're honest about who we are, or what we want, or how we want to live, then we're owning our power, we're speaking our truth, and we're letting the other person know who we are. And when we do that also, we're not needing the other person. We are simply showing what we have, what we believe, what we want, and we're letting them be that too. And so then we're both coming from a place of truth and trust and honesty, and then we could say, you know what, I love you, but this isn't working for me. Or, I really appreciate your time and energy, but I don't think this is the right relationship to be in, and ideally that would be when you're first meeting somebody. But regardless, it's about us, right? And it's not just about romantic relationships, it's about every relationship. It's about us owning our truth, owning our power, rediscovering our truth, rediscovering what we love, if that's what we need. Hi, Kelly Sue. And part of learning what we like is to try new things. Go out to eat by yourself, go see a movie. Start doing things on your own and not needing someone else to be doing it with you. Because then you're getting to really see what you like without expecting someone else to love you because you're doing what they want you to do. You're starting to appreciate yourself and value yourself. Kelly Sue, I'm just talking about why we start to accept unacceptable behavior, and how when we don't state what our values are, what we like, when we start giving away our power to going along with what somebody else is doing, slowly we forget what we even like. We forget what our interests are. We forget what our favorite foods are. We forget what our favorite activities are because we are going along with somebody else all the time. And then they start to see us as we start to become enmeshed in a relationship, and they don't see any differentiation. And when we're in a relationship with someone who's toxic, they have a lot of negative self-talk going on. And when they don't see any boundary between them and ourselves, they start projecting that negative self-talk onto us, and we just sort of start taking it, and we're confused by it because we've been going along with everything that they want or need, or et cetera, and we don't understand why they're treating us this way. So what I'm talking about is the importance of rediscovering what we really love, what our interests are, what our values are, and sticking to those and standing strong in our power and stating those up front. And then there's truth and honesty, and then we can make decisions about who we're compatible with in truth rather than in giving our power away and losing ourselves. So, yeah, do you have any questions? Do either of you have any questions? I was also suggesting, some ways to start to rediscover ourselves and is to experiment. Start doing things that you like or you have interest in and seeing if you really like them. Go out to eat by yourself. Go see a movie by yourself. Walk in the woods. Meditate. Take a yoga class. Whatever your interest is, and find what resonates with you and what makes your soul sing and what makes you happy. And then you start to see, oh, that's what it feels like to be happy. That's what it feels like to be fulfilled. So often I think it's not just the toxic relationship that creates this in us, but we've probably been living that pattern for a while where we give our power away to other people, where we start to go along with things that we maybe don't agree with. And then we end up in a relationship like that. And, but it's all about us. It's all about us pulling our power back in, raising our vibration, being vibrant women of power and joy. And we all deserve that. We deserve that. We deserve to live happy, joyous, and free, and to feel supported and feel like it's safe to have boundaries. The boundaries of the boundaries of who I am, the boundaries of what you are, who you are, and that's safe and that's okay. And it doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right. It doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. It just means we're different, and that's beautiful. We're all different. Like a rainbow has all these different colors, but it's so beautiful, and you're beautiful, and we so need you to be your unique individual self. The world needs you. We need you to raise your vibration, show who you are, be your funky, wild, free self. Enjoy it, explore. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I have to pick my daughter up. Love and blessings to you all. Bye, Patty. Bye, Kelly. Blessings. If you have any questions, let me know. And private message me if you want more information on the programs that I offer. And have a beautiful day. Blessings.